To call the Public Safety Committee meeting of May 4th to order. I'm Stephen Havey. I am your chair of this committee. First on the agenda, please, we'll have a roll call.
Mr. Haley?
Here.
Mr. Rumfeld?
Here.
Mr. Barnes?
Present.
Mr. Sear?
Here.
Mr. Demick?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Healy?
Here.
Mr. Stockton?
Thank you. First of all, we need to have the approval of the minutes from the meeting of April 6th.
Harris moves it.
Thank you. A second, please.
Second, Demick.
Thank you. Discussion on the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And those are ratified. I thank you. First up, Mr. Brian Perkins, Stop DWI Coordinator. Sir, good morning, or excuse me, good afternoon, depending
Good
on where you
afternoon,
are.
everyone. Thank you for having me in again. Not that we all have much of a choice. This is kind of a scheduled thing, but you do have my report there. Short and sweet on most of it. Victim Impact Panel is coming up this month on May 24th. We've sent some first round of letters out to those that we know need to attend. So we'll get those people coming back in for there. We'll be back out at the public safety facility again. So if anyone's ever curious and wants to pop in and see how that victim impact panel runs, we'd be happy to have you join us. Send me a message. I'll give you the information, and we'll kind of just make sure that there is a little bit of a capacity in that room. So I don't think we're anywhere close to it, but if it does ever get to that point, it'd be nice to at least know who's coming. Traffic Safety Board, Matt, I was actually out of town for that one, so I didn't get to join in, but maybe anyone else can give you updates if we do have it. Bicycle safety is coming up this month, and then there's some other school outreach things we've got going with Stop DWI on December, jumping around here, May 12th. I'll be at Genesee Valley doing a similar victim impact panel. We're going to scale it back just a little bit for the kids. Actually, one of the videos that I played during the victim impact panels lately is really geared towards younger drivers. There's a couple, it's mostly DWI stuff, but there's a couple other pieces in there about just kind of responsible driving as a youth. So it'll be the perfect video to show for them. Mr. Lucky's planning on joining me, and then Ann Weaver from Mikasa will join me at that one. So we'll give our kind of about an hour-long presentation to the kids at Genesee Valley. We've got a couple events coming up too, Friendship School and then Andover and Whitesville are combining for one. They'll both be doing DWI crash drills. Generally the way those will go is we'll bring the kids to a scene and cars are pre-crashed, ready to go. I know I can speak a little bit more on the one in Andover. I've been a little bit more involved in that. We'll have drama club kids that are, they'll get done up in some makeup, and we'll get the ones that are good at screaming, and but it'll be a full response from the departments involved as far as, they'll respond from their hall. And I've been a part of these before, and as a member of the fire department before I held this role, and they can be very impactful for the kids for sure, and not just the kids. There's usually some parents that get invited along and get to see that side of it too, so it can have an impact on them and reminding their kids to be responsible. So looking forward to those events, I guess, to be able to get back into the schools and do those types of things after the last couple of years of not being able to. So that's about all I've got for you, unless anyone's got any other questions.
Yeah, questions for him, please? Anyone? Okay, I guess
thank
you're
you.
released. Thank you very much for coming in. Up next, we have the Public Defender's Office. Is Mr. J.R. Santana Carter with us this afternoon?
Mr. Carter was held up in court today. He was unable to attend, so he does express his apologies, but is unable to be here.
Excellent, thank you. Honestly, that's his job. His job is in court, not reporting to us, so thank you very much. I do have his report here. If anyone has any questions on it, I think you could reach out to him directly. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. Okay, next up, we have Mr. Jeff Lucky, Emergency Management and Fire Director, please.
It's okay, I'm gonna skip ahead.
Yes,
I actually am supposed
you have
to
to
be
go
in
to
court
court
right
as
now,
well.
too. Yeah, I
Okay,
apologize.
I totally get that.
Yep. So obviously the numbers are up over the prior month quite a bit. But if you look year-to-date from last year, they're actually down. So I don't think there's any significant reason for why that's the case. Sometimes that's the nature of the biz, that's the way it goes. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. I don't think it's anything noteworthy. But apart from that, if anyone has any questions on the report or anything else, I'm happy to take questions.
Okay. Anything for Mr. Jones? No?
Okay?
Thank you very
all.
much. Good
Nice to
luck
see
in
you
court. Okay, Mr. Lucky, up next. Sir?
Thank you. Just want to highlight a couple things on the report. On April 19th, we did meet as a committee with Brian Bedstead from OFPC, he's one of the deputy fire chiefs, and Bill Stryker from Wyoming County, he's one of the representatives from Western New York that serves on the governor's recruitment and retention committee. Good exchange of information, and actually what kind of surprised me at the end of the meeting is both of them said they learned a lot from talking to us about kind of a little more real world type situations and what's going on. So we had a great turnout meeting. We're still working at, how to recruit and retain members. Also on the April 22nd, a new law was passed, and there was the first information on that fire departments can start charging coming up in July for EMS calls. If you run to the fire department, you couldn't charge before. The ambulances were there, so that's a new law. It's a very complicated law, like most New York laws are. I think it's still being developed some. But we did push that out about FASNY having that available, and we were on that seminar to learn about the rules and regulations of that. Attended on 4/26, the Wellness Fair in Fillmore. It was well attended, had lots of kids stop by. It was right next to the Fillmore Fire Department as well, so kind of keep that recruitment attention going. I think they did hand out some applications that night to some young people and hopefully encouraging some parents maybe to join too as well. And the last thing I have on 4/27, we had the Tier 3 training here. Several of the people here, the legislative and department heads and others attended. I was unable, I was at the fire investigation following up from a very large fire. But from what I heard back from Bonnie and stuff like that, it was very enjoyable. Learned a lot, and it's something to build from. And if there's an interest, we'll try to offer something like that again in the fall as well.
I can tell you that I attended the Tier 3 training, and I found it very beneficial, so I recommend it.
Same here.
I don't know if she introduced herself, Jody, that's our rep that we always reference when I talk about the representative for OEM. Jody, the training, so if you ever heard me reference my main contact there, that I'm referencing her, so. I have any other questions on my report?
Questions for Jeff? Okay, I guess we're up to MOEs.
Yep, 2 MOEs. These are just to apply for the grants. These are the traditional grants that we received every year. We haven't received the amounts yet, so we just used the figures from last year, but we're just looking to apply. First one is LEMPG. This is used, it's a 50/50 grant, and it helps pays our rent of the facility, some against us for our wages, and some training primarily.
Okay. Take a motion on that?
Harris.
Okay, and a second, please?
Second, Seer.
Thank you. Any further questions on this before we vote? No? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Thank you. And your second one, please?
The second one is SHSP, which is Homeland Security.
So
Again,
moved. Second, Healy.
All right, well, we're moving this right along. Any other questions for Jeff on this one? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That was easy, wasn't it?
yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, by the way. Okay, we've already heard from the district attorney's representative, so Mr. Robert Starks, probation director, please, sir. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, everyone. Have my monthly report in front of you.
Can you turn your mic on?
It is on.
Is it not? There we go.
Is that better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon. Have my monthly report. Investigations are still down. Must be the courts are still trying to get through their dockets and get things sorted out. Our juveniles are keeping us busy. There's a number that we've received since I submitted this report that we'll be interviewing and taking some and being involved with. So those numbers, the youth are keeping us busy at this point in time. So
Okay.
any questions on my report?
Questions, Mr. Starks? No? All right.
I will just note,
please.
last month I stated that Accord had hired a person for the youth court coordinator position. A couple days later, that person rescinded, and so they're now back looking for another coordinator, so.
Okay. I believe you have an MOE.
Yes, requesting the approval of this license agreement between the organization, not a number, Love 146, and our department, allowing our staff to provide 5 educational classes to the youth that we work with.
So moved.
Okay. Mr. Harris, second.
Second, Seer.
Sir, thank you. Any questions, further questions on this?
Mr. Chairman,
Sir?
I actually have a question on the formatting of the MOE. I noticed that it's different. Are you using that new software that we purchased? Or is this just your own formatting?
Probably not. If you're asking me. The answer is no, I'm probably not using the new software because be honest with you, I've gotten mixed signals. Some said yes, some we should use it, others have said no. So this is just the format that I have on my Word document. So if I'm supposed to use a different format, I would be glad to do so if someone.
I like this one personally, but I'm just, I guess the real question is not related to you at all, really. But what's the status with that? Are we directing department heads to use that software? Have they been trained on it? What's the story there?
This is just the simplest form, and the answer to the rest of that question is a complicated answer. We do have the software purchased. It has not performed the way we should, and if you wish to hear why I don't believe it's performed that way, it probably should be executive session related to a contract.
Let's do it another time, but I'd be interested to talk about it. And I apologize. Thank you.
I didn't mean to open up a can of worms.
Exactly. Okay, someone needs to move this for me, please.
I think you've got it.
Do we got it?
I think I moved it.
Oh, you did?
Seriously.
And okay, then we're way ahead of the game. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. I thank you very much. Gilbert Green. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I don't know if I can follow that, but I'll try.
I like your format because you use big letters. Use like 18 fonts,
Fills
we
up
can all
the-
read it.
I think it's 20, but it fills up the page better.
Yeah.
Double spaced also.
Nice. It's nice.
I'll keep that in mind. Although next month should be busier now that we finally found some warmer weather. Not drier, but warmer. They got a good start on May. I did truck scale on Monday, and the state inspector came down and helped me yesterday, and we did 3 gas stations. Stiles all taken care of,
Okay.
so.
Any questions for Mr. Green? Anyone wishing to do ride-alongs? I see he's welcome, these ride-alongs.
Do a weightlifting test, only 50 pounds at a time.
Okay,
100 if you want a balance load.
I'll bear that in mind.
Yeah, I bet you will.
I will, I'm telling you, I've already
Okay.
crossed
See
you
you
off my
next month.
list.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, appreciate it. Sheriff Rick Whitney, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. It's always hard to go after Gilbert.
It is. It is.
I filed my report if anybody's got any questions. If you notice, we did start the triad meetings back up, which were well received. We had over 30 seniors showed up that day. We also did the pill drop with PPAC this month, and the undersheriff and I worked Wellsville, and we brought in a little over 70 pounds, and Lieutenant Bigelow worked Cancerega, and he brought in a little over 20-some pounds. But we ended up with all the drop boxes we have throughout the county. Since the last time we dropped off, we took almost 1,000 pounds of drugs up to Buffalo to be destroyed. So system's working pretty well.
That's a lot of pharmaceuticals.
Sheriff, where are the everyday drop boxes located?
They're throughout the county. I try to give them to you off the top of my head. Wellsville PD, Jones Memorial, Sheriff's Office, the doctor's office in Bolivar, the new doctor's office in Andover, the new doctor's clinic in Cancerega, the pharmacy in Fillmore, the pharmacy down here in Belmont, the pharmacy in Friendship. Alfred, was it? Yeah, Alfred State College PD. They're spread out. If you get on the PPAC website, it has a list of them. We also have magnets I could bring in if anybody was interested. That we have the list of all the drop boxes on it.
Thank you.
Okay. I see you've had a resignation of a secretary,
Yes.
so I imagine we'll be dealing with that at some point.
Well, we're looking at it. We're looking at a way to try to save you some money, so we'll see.
You know, we love that. Okay, you have a couple of MOEs anyhow, though, right?
Yeah, I have one MOE. That's so we can apply for the SICG Targeted Program Grant.
Okay,
So moved.
thank you.
Harris.
Second?
Seconded, Seer.
Okay, very good. Questions about that for the sheriff? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Thank you, Sheriff. What's next?
Okay, the second one is for establishing a rate of pay for part-time deputy sheriff officers. So it follows the rate of the Allegheny County Deputy Sheriff's Association. Right now, the only part-time deputies we have, it's through a MOA with the union, is they have to be retired from our office to come back and work as a part-time deputy. We're having a very hard time filling all the positions throughout the summer with all the parades and the balloon rally and things like that. We're always being asked for help. And with our current staff, we're having a hard time doing that. So we're working on an MOA with the union right now where we could bring in outside officers as part-time deputies. So this is.
So moved, Sheriff.
Okay, thank you.
Second, Demick.
Excellent. Questions? Further questions?
Maybe just for clarification, the rate of pay is set by board resolution, and you're seeking that this committee
Well,
direct?
I imagine we have to start out here. We'll work through the whole process, but I think this is where we have to start. I guess I'm also scheduled on personnel after this, so.
Carissa, this meets with your approval?
It does, and if you remember right, a few months ago, we did something similar with the COs. They hadn't had a change in their pay rate for part-time COs, I think, since 2012, and you changed theirs to match base of the contract. This is a very similar request for the part-time deputies.
Okay, but what's the process?
So because this is a public safety matter, it would come to public safety first, then it would go to personnel, then Ways and Means, and then a resolution. I believe I have all that. Lots of steps.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Anything else on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any old business for the committee? New business? Good of the order? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Harris?
Seer.
Okay. Ms. Sears? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.